Welcome to Busted Speakers. I'm Cam,
And I'm Alex.
and today we're looking at another EP sent to me by RYM user Frenchie and his PR company. This is the EP The Fighter by a duo called Traps from Kent, UK. And Alex, I'm just going to let you start off with it. What do you think?
At its most basic moments, this sounds like a sort of late 90s, early 2000s sort of simple metal thing that has just been expanded upon greatly with a lot of creative bells and whistles here and there on all three songs. First of all, I'd like to say I actually quite like the album cover. I think we can both agree that's one of the better aspects of this release.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool artwork.
When we review stuff, we barely ever mention the artwork, but it is actually a part of the album package, so it's fair enough mentioning it. I would say Cowboy starts off as sort of a standard metal track, which gets pretty ridiculous with the vocal, screaming, yelping. It kind of fits, but it gets pretty ridiculous. There's some nice atmospherics going on in this track towards the end that remind me of the band Incubus from the late 90s, which I quite liked. And yeah, the atmospherics with the guitars were pretty good. I'd say track 2, the Cyborg. This is definitely could be either the best or the worst song because it's the most ridiculous, the most creative, but also this leads it to pretty much be the most diverse but also unfocused one. It's not very cohesive. I think there's a chorus hook that happens twice in the whole song, so structurally not the best, but then again it goes through a load of different diversions and things that make it quite interesting to listen to. It's definitely got some of the best parts of the release. And then there's The Count, which starts off almost like a light Devin Townsend type song, and then I don't know why they put this in, but there's some weird a cappella parts to this song, which I can't even begin to fathom whether I enjoy them or not, because they come out of nowhere, and when I listen to the song, they're definitely a thing I look out for, but they also interrupt the flow quite dramatically and feel out of place, but are also something that's kind of interesting that they're there. So, don't know how I feel about that part of the song. Song as a whole is okay. Interesting release. It definitely feels like if you're going to make metal creative, I've definitely heard a lot of creative metal type releases, and this seems to go overboard, switched up to 11. So, that's kind of my condensed overall thoughts of this release.
Yeah, this is very definitely a band that's just out to do their own thing. The press kit for fans of Entry mentions the Mars Volta, and that's definitely probably the easiest point of comparison. But I'm not. You're talking about a couple of bands here that I'm not really, that I've never really checked out or never listened to Devin Townsend or Incubus, and I've got a couple Mars Volta albums, but I can't really say what Traps is doing, better or worse or equal to the Mars Volta.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I don't really have quite as much to contribute here from what you said. It's the one thing I can say that I felt about this is that I think that the songs, the first two tracks, are just under 7 minutes and just over 8 minutes.
Yeah,
And
they're quite long, and they kind of justify their existence by being interested and going through a lot of diversions, but they're also they could have stopped a minute earlier and I wouldn't have minded as well. So
yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it.
The song lengths I can't really say I'm okay or not okay with, because maybe the songs could have been better with less ideas and more cohesive focus, but they also are a bit more interesting because of all the diversions they take, so don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
Is this even close to any realms of metal that you've ever tried before, Cam?
And like I said, it does kind of remind me of the Mars Volta, but it doesn't seem like Traps is necessarily going as conceptual as Mars Volta tends to be. I don't think that there's any real story or characters or anything to this.
I'm
So
kind of interested in the sort of album cover correlation with the songs, but I couldn't even pick out much correlation within the actual songs.
well, you
But
kind of go by the titles. The chin is kind of has a Sam Elliott mustache, so that's the cowboy. Then the top is a brain or something that looks like it has a bunch of buttons and displays in it. So that'd be the cyborg, and then the middle one is the Count,
I
but it
guess.
looks more like the Green Goblin. So
Presentation is
yeah,
solid on that front.
yeah,
I would say this is like the sort of release where either clicks or doesn't, and it didn't fully click with me, to be honest.
yeah, I'd agree. Like
So,
it, I'm willing to check the band out in the future.
no, there's
Like I said,
definitely like this is like the amount of creative ideas here. It's definitely a band that or duo or whatever they are, I'm not sure, that could easily become amazing if they just honed in on some specific aspects. This felt like throwing loads of ideas at the wall within the same song when they could have maybe had made three songs out of one here. It's kind of admirable what they've done, but I can't say it worked for me really.
I think I can agree with that. All right, what rating
Yeah,
would you give it?
I'd give it like a solid 5 out of 10. There's definitely a lot of things here that worked out, but a lot of things that kind of didn't as well. It's kind of confusing listening to this for me. I don't know what to make of a lot of it, so it's probably a lot going over my head. And I feel like with 6 listens, I gave it a fair shot, so not much else I can say.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same. And it's a 6 out of 10 for me. This is good. It's okay. I'll definitely keep an eye on the band, see what else they put out in the future. So that's pretty good. That in and of itself.
I give it a 5 out of 10. I don't think it's terrible in any respect. It's just didn't work really completely as much as. But then again, they tried quite hard on this. So I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah, like there's definitely no shortage of good musicianship here.
No,
All right, so The Fighter is out now on CD and digital from Half Melted Brain Records. And thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see y'all later.
see ya.